Merry meet and welcome to Ariel's Corner. We are having our thrilling Thursday today, and we're going to have for this round our very last discussion on Kabbalah and the divine names upon the spheres in the Tree of Life. And we'll revisit Kabbalah again and again, but for now, this is going to be our last discussion for a little while on Thrilling Thursday, so we can get to some other things. On these trees that are on your screen right now, we are missing the theoretical sphere called Da'at, and that exists in that space that you see between 2, 3, and 4, 5. So it's directly under number 1 and directly above number 6, right in the center of that square between 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I wish that I had put that on here for this discussion. So when we get this edited to an uploaded video, I'll definitely include the tree with Da'at there, because we have to talk about Da'at when we talk about Malkuth. So just so that you know, you can visualize that Da'at sphere, and that's right in that space in the middle of the square between 2, 3, 4, and 5. And it's right between number 1 and number 6, right in the center of that square. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Okay. If you are in a place where it is comfortable, you know what? Let's do some announcements real quick, and then we'll do that. We do not have a premiere today, but it looks like we'll have one tomorrow. We'll definitely have one on Saturday and probably on Sunday as well. So I'm looking forward to 3 premieres, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but we'll have at least 2 more premieres. And so today we don't have one, and therefore, if you have any questions, you can put them right in the chat thread, and I won't have a rush to get off the stream today, so I can get to all questions if we happen to have any. If you love this channel and you want to support us, one way to do that is by giving a donation. You can go to paypal.me/ArielGatoga, paypal.me/ArielGatoga. If you're watching live on YouTube, you could use a super sticker or super chat if you feel like giving a donation that way. And if you're on a restream, you could use this super thanks. We also have a shop, and that's over at arielscornershop.com, arielscornershop.com. We have all kinds of merchandise, and it's an affiliate store, so we make a small commission off of each and every sale. So we have some free booklets, and you can find those on my website, ariels-corner.com, arielscorner with a hyphen.com. It's in the menu. There's some free booklets there, and more are coming. I got all creative, and I started a bunch of booklets. Now I've got to do the opposite and get finished on them. So I'm working on finishing up booklets now. It's so funny, and my work schedule in my non-craft work schedule has kind of exploded. So I just have to be very disciplined and get all that done. So look forward to some new booklets. I'm not sure when those will come out, but they are in the process of happening. Let's see, we have free courses. All my courses are free, and there's a bunch of them. You can find them on the website, ariels-corner.com. The best one to start with if you're new to magic is a witch's primer. And but then we have an intermediate witchcraft course called Witchcraft Beyond the Basics, and an advanced witchcraft course called Advancing Your Craft. We have an angel magic course that's a 6-month course. We have a dark magic course, which is wonderful. We've got a prosperity and money magic course. So we've got all kinds of courses. They're all free of charge, so check them out. And we also have some nice community. We have a Discord server where you can come and ask your questions or give your support or give your answers, whatever you want to do. Get involved in the discussions at Ariel's Corner. And then also we have a Facebook group, which is another place that you can get your support. And we have a forum that's on our website as well. So there's plenty of places to give and receive support in this community. And we just really appreciate you being here. I'm very, very humbled by the fact that we have the audience that we do. It's just, it makes me so happy, and I love what we do here, and I can't wait to get going with it each and every day, because this is my favorite thing. So yay. All right, enough of all that. Let's get going. If you're in a place where it is comfortable for you to do so, go ahead and close your eyes and begin to relax your body and mind by taking a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. With every inhale, you feel more light and peace entering your body and mind. And with every exhale, you can relax and just drop away everything that is tense and that you do not want. Inhaling peace and light, exhaling as you let go of all tension. We picture ourselves on top of a beautiful mountain in the center of a circular grove of trees. In the center of our circle, a bonfire blazes forth, lighting us and the grove up with a sacred, golden light. We recognize that this is the light of perfect love and perfect trust, and it easily and efficiently burns away everything that is not like itself, leaving us safe and peaceful. Into this sacred space now, we invoke the presence of our Creator. To many of us here, our Creator reveals themselves as a God and Goddess, a mother and father. We also invite into this space the presence of our angels, our teachers, and our guides. We ask that they guide and lead us as we walk upon the way, becoming happier, more peaceful, more prosperous, more gracious, more healthy, and more loving people. Thank you very much. And if it's appropriate for you to do so out loud, you can join me in saying, "Blessed be." So we've gone through the entire tree. We've taken a while, and we've gone through and discussed the divine names on each of these spheres, which is just barely scratching the surface of what we can work with when we're looking at the spheres of the tree of life. But today we're talking about that bottom sphere, sphere number 10, which is called in Hebrew Malkuth, which means kingdom. And it's representative of the earth, planetary earth and elemental earth. It is the place of manifestation. So for us in this world, this represents physical manifestation. You can see that all the other spheres are singly colored, but this sphere is very often depicted as having 4 colors. And those colors are traditionally citrine, olive, russet, and black. That represents a division, a 4-fold division of the 4 elements, the 4 worlds, and the 4-fold schema that is intrinsic to the Kabbalistic understanding of the world. So we could look at those 4 colors as being an earthy representation of each of the elements. The earth of earth, the earth of fire, the earth of air, and the earth of water. So, and that's a representation of the fact that in this physical world, the physical world is made up of what in metaphysics are called 4 elements. In science, there's more than 4 elements, obviously, but in metaphysics or in magic, it's 4 elements. And the 4 elements of magic aren't necessarily just earth itself or water itself or flames. It's fire represents all heat, all energy, all catalysm. Water represents everything that's wet here, and it also represents that which either quells the fire or which interacts with the fire to make steam. So if you think about that fire and water coming together to make steam, that's that air element. And air is any gaseous substance. It's not just oxygen, it's not just H2O, it's any gaseous substance. And it's usually invisible unless it's mixed with another element. And then earth is anything solid, anything that appears to be solid. There's no such thing as solid. That's another mystery. So in the kingdom as we experience it here, everything is subject to death. Because what death is here for is to change form. Because the earth is the earth of form. Now, it's very easy to discount this kingdom, discount this 10th sphere as being somewhat less important than all the other spheres. For one thing, it's not part of a triad. It's not part of the supernal triad, which is 1, 2, and 3, the secondary triad, which is 4, 5, and 6, and the tertiary triad, which is 7, 8, and 9. 10 is sort of, it seems to be all by itself. Now, it could be stated that 10 is actually number 1 on the tree of life beneath it. And in that regard, the tree of life as we see it here, as everybody talks about it as it's called the tree of life, we know it as the tree of life. But if you look in biblical understanding, there were 2 trees in that garden. And this is actually the tree of knowledge. We call it the tree of life, but it's the tree of knowledge, because the tree of knowledge has the 10th sphere at the bottom of the tree. But in reality, the tree of life, that tree that we experience before we fall, and falling means falling asleep, Malkuth is actually up where Da'at should be. That place between 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's where the kingdom of God exists. The kingdom exists in its exalted place prior to its falling asleep. So when we fell asleep, we became subject to death. We became subject to form. We became encased in this world. We became what we felt like as being trapped in a world. And in those Bible stories, we were excommunicated. We were thrown out of the kingdom. But that's a very dramatic, ancient, Near Eastern poetic way of describing something. There was no kicking out. Infinite intelligence doesn't kick us out. Infinite intelligence knows that we're fine. Infinite intelligence knows that we exist as we were created. And the fact that we fell asleep and we're experiencing this dreamlike experience in this fallen 10th sphere is something that we're doing in our own minds, in our own imaginations. So the 10th sphere is in this world the manifestation of that which our mental facilities create. So everything that's happening on sphere number 9, that astral realm, in this world, that astral realm is the blueprint for what happens on sphere number 10. But in the exalted sphere number 10, everything is numbered differently. And we'll talk about that on some other day. We're not really going to be able to get into that because that's its own lecture. But the tree before the fall, so to speak, looks different, and it's numbered differently. It's colored differently. There's different angels. It's all different. And even that is would be a conceptualization, because nobody really knows what that is until we are awakened. But we can visualize that as the tree that looks very different than what it does here. But in this world, sphere number 10 represents that which is manifest out of sphere number 9. Now, if you look at spheres 3, 7, 9, and 10, those spheres really are spheres that are different aspects of Shekinah, that goddess energy, that Holy Spirit energy. And oftentimes, sphere number 10 is referred to as the inferior mother. Now, when we say inferior mother, that's such archaic terminology, and people misunderstand it, and they think, oh, so that's the mother that's not so good. She's inferior. No, it really doesn't mean that. It means the daughter of Binah, or the daughter of sphere number 3. So the earth is the daughter of sphere number 3. And it's interesting because sphere number 9 is the sister of sphere number 10. But remember, everything is put into order differently on this tree than what it was intended, or the way that the tree manifests in the pre-fall experience, or the original design. So the tree of life looks different than this. This is really the tree of knowledge. Okay, but let's just get into this sphere number 10 as the goddess, as the goddess of the earth. So all of your earth deities, and it can also include the male earth deities like Cernunnos and Hern and those kinds of deities, the deities of the earth, the Gaia and Hera, all of those mother earthly deities, Demeter. These are the daughter of Bina, the daughter of the supreme goddess. And a lot of the goddess energy on sphere number 3 can't be named. It's she that cannot be named. She's the mystery. She's the mystery. I like the high priestess as a card for sphere number 3 and the empress as sphere number 10, but also sphere number 7. There's all kinds of ways. That's why when people start to put the tarot cards on the tree, I'm like, yeah, except for when it's this. It's just like you can't really be that dogmatic about the tarot on the tree, because the tarot can, it's changeable. It's changeable. But we do like to put the pips on the tree. So the pips in the tarot deck are sphere number 10 is the number 10 in the tarot. So if you think about that, sphere number 10 as the 10 of wands is you could say the fiery 10 versus the 10 of cups. Now the fiery 10 tends to burn out, whereas the 10 of cups tends to give you more fertility and more happiness. Right? The 10 of air, or the 10 of swords, tends to be a dastardly outcome, whereas the 10 of coins tends to be wealth and prosperity. So it's the 10 as Malkuth in this world is the outcome based on what's going on sphere number 9. So we talked about sphere number 9 is last time as being the kind of the astral equivalent, or the astral double of that which we want. And that's exactly how this works. If you think of sphere number 9 as being the causal plane and sphere number 10 as reflecting that causal plane, you can see very clearly that sphere number 10 and sphere number 9 are sisters. They're sisters. And if you think about how the moon was born, so the sphere number 10 came out of the sun, but sphere number 9 came out of the earth. So if you think about how the sun kind of extended particles from itself that went into orbit and then cooled down and became planets in orbit, and then an asteroid hit the Earth, which caused a chunk of itself to move into orbit around the Earth, and that became the moon. After all the cataclysms and great floods and things like that were caused as a result of the birth of the moon. Right, but you can see how that works, that sphere number 3 is the mother, sphere number 10 is the daughter, and sphere number 9 is the sister. Even though that seems out of sequence, but that's it's exactly right. Sometimes sphere number 10 is called the bride, and sphere number 6 is called the bridegroom. And it goes through sphere number 9. And that's that Christian mystery of the Virgin Mary, sphere number 9, as being that she just represents the astral plane. So when the Holy Child is manifest on earth, it has to come through the astral plane. It has to come through that blueprint. So nothing comes to sphere number 10 save through sphere number 9. Now, it looks like there's a path directly to sphere number 10 from sphere number 7 and also from sphere number 8. But even with that, you can see how the power flows in from both sphere number 8 and sphere number 7 into sphere number 9. So it's constantly feeding sphere number 10 with its information. Sphere number 9 is the blueprint. Sphere number 9 is and that's why sphere number 9 is such a magical, important sphere. The moon is so important when working magic. It's because it's from the moon that we are able to have control over the forms that are manifest on sphere number 10. It's by working with that astral plane. It's by working with that blueprint, right? Sphere number 10, Adonai Haaretz. That's the name of the holy name. Adonai Haaretz literally means the Lord of the earth. The Lord of the earth. Now, in angel magic, the Lord of the Earth is called Lumiel, or Lucifer. So it's interesting because Lucifer historically works with the feminine more than with the masculine. And that's why the serpent tempted Eve, not Adam. So there again, we have Lucifer, the Lord of the Earth, as the intelligence of the earth, which courts only the feminine, courts the feminine. So the goddess of 10, the goddess of 9 come together and are consorted through that Luciferian experience on sphere number 10. So according to the legend of Lucifer, Lucifer is the Lord of the Earth until the day when sphere number 10 gets exalted again in its rightful place, which is being sort of held in it's being held in repose on where that theoretical sphere called Da'at is. And once that happens, once we wake up again and we realize where we are, then Lucifer no longer needs to be Lord of the Earth and can go back to Lucifer's normal scheduled program. Its normal function as the leader of the angelic host. So that's how that particular story pans out, and why Lucifer is the Lord of the Earth, because Lucifer made a big mistake, according to the story, which caused the fall, which caused that sphere to be where it is. It caused that sphere to fall. And so as a result, Lucifer needs to atone or fix its mistake, his mistake. In this particular case, it's usually seen as a masculine angel, but angels have no gender. So Lucifer's got to atone for or fix the mistake, in which causes the sphere to return to its normal place, which is not where it is. It's above, between spheres 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the current tree. That's where Malkuth actually belongs. That's where the sphere number 10, what's called sphere number 10 now, actually belongs. Once that happens, then Lord of the Earth doesn't need to be there anymore. And then we are back in the experience that we were intended to be in, where that paradise, which is where we are. According to the story, we never left paradise. We just fell asleep to it and started dreaming these dreams. And so until we can be re-educated to not misuse our creative powers, which we discovered on sphere number 7, to not misuse our creative powers to miscreate experiences, which is what we're doing as we're having nightmares on sphere number 10 now, we will then allow infinite intelligence's thought forms to rule, and then we will be back into that experience where we don't have problems. We don't have an experience of life that we have here, where everything is subject to death and everything is impermanent. But until then, what we have is this tree, and this tree is a successive tree. So that means that this tree is the top of the next tree, which is the top of the next tree. And that's our experience of eternity here, is going through life after life after life after life, until we get to that point where we don't have to be involved in that cycle of births and rebirths. But until then, sphere number 10 needs to become the sphere number 1 of another tree underneath it, and then another tree underneath that, and another tree underneath that, onto infinity. Because life can never die. Life can never die. We can live in a world of death, but that doesn't mean that death is real. Death only exists to change form and to serve life. And until we wake up to that, then we have to experience these deaths and rebirths and deaths and rebirths. And so that's why sphere number 10 becomes sphere number 1 again. And there's no escaping that, because life is eternal. And the only way to so-called escape the wheel of life, the wheel of death and rebirth, is to wake up to the truth that doesn't exist, that there is no such thing, that's a bad nightmare that we're having, right? So until then, sphere number 10 is here to reflect that which we are holding in sphere number 7, which is informed by what we create in spheres numbers 7 and 8. 7, 8, and 9 are the human experience of creating reality for sphere number 10. Now, if we're co-creating with spheres numbers 4, 5, and 6, then our sphere number 10 starts to reflect that pre-fall experience that we had. And so that's what is meant, like in A Course in Miracles, it talks about how you're going to have before you wake up from the dream, your dream is going to be a happy dream. It's the same idea, is that as soon as we start allowing sphere number 10 to really reflect the truth, then we'll start actually having a dream here that looks almost identical to reality, in which case then we can gently wake up to the fact that we never fell and that there was never a problem. But if we just take those spheres 7, 8, and 9 and think, nope, it's me, and my thoughts and my desires and my fears and my whatever, and we're not allowing ourselves to be informed by the higher intelligences of 4, 5, and 6, that's when we get into trouble. Because sphere number 9 always must create on sphere number 10. Sphere number 9 is like the old photographic plates, right? What's on the negative has to be developed into, if you develop that negative, it's going to be what it is. There's no changing it. So spheres number 7 and 8 are a way that we use our minds and creative abilities and our intellect to create the images in sphere number 9 that are then manifest into sphere number 10. And we have the free will to do that. We don't have to be informed by sphere number 6. We don't have to be informed by sphere numbers 4 and 5. We don't have to do that. Remember that sphere number 4 is all mercy. Sphere number 5 fights all the battles and destroys that which is not good for us. Sphere number 6 is that divine design which does for us what we cannot do for ourselves. Those spheres are sort of like the intermediary spheres that are there, willing, ready, and able to translate infinite intelligence's will for us to us so that we can use our creative powers to have that experience of perfection. But rarely do we allow that to happen. Usually our 7, 8, and 9 are working full time to have an experience both individually and collectively on sphere number 10, which is anything but fun, which is rarely anything but fun. And even if we do have fun here, it's very temporary. We know it's just a very temporary experience because we got some more caca on its way, right? So that's the basic mystery here, is that our ability to create our experiences when devoid of higher wisdom will perpetuate that experience of birth and rebirth, life and death, birth and rebirth, life and death, for as long as we decide that we want to stay asleep and to create our own images for ourselves, both, like I said, individually and collectively. It's not just our own individual minds and creative abilities that are being misused to create astral forms on sphere number 9 that then become manifest on sphere number 10. It's not just us as individuals that are doing that. In fact, we as individuals that are doing that are only doing that because that's what we were trained to do. It's not our fault. We don't know any better. Remember that famous quote from Jesus, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do"? That doesn't mean in that circumstance. That means in every circumstance. We don't know what we're doing because we don't even question. We never even question how we use our mind or how we use our creativity. We never question that. We just do what we grew up looking and seeing everybody else doing and thinking and talking. Even those of us who rebel against our parents, we still are doing it in a way that belies the fact that we were trained by them. We're doing everything as we learned how to do. And so that's why the collective consciousness of our species sort of has us in a holding pattern, has us sort of in a prison here. But the good news is that it doesn't need to be that way. And it doesn't need to take a long time to undo that. In fact, it's very simple for infinite intelligence. It's got to get past the fact that we have free will. It can't force us to do anything that we don't want to do. Infinite intelligence can't force us to listen to wisdom. It can't force us to wake up to the divine design. It can't force us to allow our battles to be fought on our behalf. It cannot force us to receive the mercy that is there for us. It has to wait patiently until we decide that we want that. And sometimes things have to get really, really, really bad before we say, wait, there might be another way. Maybe there's a better way. It doesn't have to get really bad. It doesn't really have to get that bad, but usually it seems to have to get that bad because that's the only time that we even consider that there might be another way. So this is where the rubber meets the road on sphere number 10, because that's when everything comes into manifestation. But what do we do with that? We fall asleep. We say, look what's happening to me. Look what's happening to us. Look how mean whatever God is, or look how bad those people are, or look at how I'm victimized by this world. And it's obvious that we have all the evidence to support this idea that we're being victimized by this world. Nobody can point to anything other than that as being true. And that's how the ego works. The ego works in such a way that there is no escape. There seems to be no escape. The ego exists to create unsolvable problems through spheres 7, 8, and 9, so that by the time they manifest on sphere number 10, we feel like there's nothing we can do, and we're just victimized, and we're trapped here. Now, sphere number 6 is ready, willing, and able to show you that that's not true. That's solar light. And also 4 and 5 are working in consort with that. If we allow that intelligence to surface in our minds. So our job is not to create the reality that we want for ourselves necessarily, although that can be. But before I move on, let's just look at that. A lot of what metaphysics teaches us, and a lot of what witchcraft teaches us, and it's true, and there's some value in it, is on sphere number 9, if we just come up with images and desires and work it in a certain way, if we work our magic in a certain way, we can get what we want. And that's true. But that can also be another trap, because we still think that we know what's going to make us happy. We still think that what we're coming up with is somehow grand, is somehow free from the restrictive thought processes that we've been trained into in this world. We still believe that we have freedom of choice to and understanding about what we can choose in the world of form that will make us happy. And so that's a type of prison too. That's another way that the ego has us, is by saying, yeah, no, you're free. You can have what you want here. And then we're always running after things that have no capability of making us happy, because we still are searching for forms rather than for essences. So once we open our minds to the idea that that solar light on sphere number 6, which is basically just a focal point of all of the higher wisdom above it on that tree, can do for us what we literally can't do for ourselves, can start to inform our thought forms, both on spheres 7 and 8, give us new desires, give us new intellect, so that we can create on sphere number 9 thought forms which are in accord with the truth about who we are, in accord with our soul, rather than going from ego to ego to ego to ego problem, ego lust, ego problem, ego lust, ego problem, ego lust, and never ever being happy, never being satisfied. When we instead allow that thought form to come to us right from sphere number 6, then sphere number 10, like I said before, starts to reflect a different experience than what we've had before. Everything starts to happen in ways that we couldn't have come up with on our own, because we didn't even know that those things were available to us. And it seems as though the entire universe bends to support us and to bring us happiness. And that's because that's exactly what's happening. When we realize, instead of fighting against all of these manifestations, fighting against the universe, fighting to have our place, fighting to be safe, fighting to have our needs met, that we are in a universe that actually loves us, that wants us to be happy, that wants us to have all the things that make us happy, and in forms that we didn't even know were available to us. It's just like that story that I talk about with the actress that wanted a spell because she wanted to be on this TV commercial. I said, why don't you not do the spell for the TV commercial? Why don't you do a spell for the perfect part? She goes, no, I really want to be on this TV commercial. And I convinced her. I said, well, at least say this or something greater. At least say this or something even better according to infinite intelligence's will for me. And she got the part in a movie, right? She got a part in a movie. But she wanted the commercial. So having that part in the commercial would have given her a false sense of success, but she would have never been able to even be open to the fact that there was greater success that the universe wanted for her. And that's just a silly little example, but that's how the universe operates. Sphere number 6 doesn't want to take away all your fun. It's not like sphere number 6 says, oh, I don't want you to have that boyfriend. I don't want you to have that job. I don't want you to have that career. I don't want you to have all of those things. Those are just ego things. No, it's saying, you don't even know what's going to make you happy. Of course I want you to have those things, but those things are nothing compared to what I can give you. They're nothing compared to how much joy and happiness that you can have. So it's not that it's not that spheres 7, 8, and 9 are asking too much from the spheres above it. It's that they're not asking for enough. They're not even asking at all. They're thinking that they know what's going to make you happy, and they don't. So what the mystery of all of this is that if we can allow our creative faculties and our mental faculties to be re-educated by the spheres above them, so that those thought forms which occur on sphere number 9 reflect the will of the infinite and the will of our soul, everything changes. And then little by little, sphere number 10 starts to look like, our world starts to look like what it's supposed to look like. And in that case, when that happens, then we start to wake up. We just gently awaken and we realize we don't even live down here. We live up there. We live up there. We live up where we thought was so far away from us. And that's actually where we've been sleeping. We've been slumbering inside of this amazing kingdom, thinking that we were off in this lower world with all these problems and all this cruelty and all of this death and all of this destruction, right? So that's the mystery here. That's the mystery of sphere number 10. Sphere number 10 is supposed to be the kingdom of the infinite, not the kingdom of our egos. Right now, it's the kingdom of our egos. And so that mystery of Lucifer is to re-educate our minds so that we can see a new world. We can see a new earth. And that new earth then is actually the old earth, the original earth, which reflects the higher will rather than our ego's will. It's exciting stuff to consider, and I invite you to ponder these mysteries, and you'll come up with all kinds of cool stuff just by pondering it and asking for inspiration from those higher planes. And as those higher spheres start to send the inspiration your way, to send all of that love and support your way, to send that defense your way, to send that mercy your way, to send all of that your way, then how you use your mind, how you use your creativity becomes very, very different. And then the images that you project onto the world start to reflect the truth rather than the lie. How exciting. Thank you so much for spending a little time with me today, and thanks for going through this 10-sphere mystery. Adonai Haaretz, the Lord of the earth. The Lord of the earth is waiting for you. And the Lord is not a gender-specific deity. The Lord of the earth is just the spirit of Lucifer, which is here to enlighten you so that you can wake up to the truth about who you are. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again soon. Blessed be. All right, let's see if we have any questions. Oh my goodness, we do. Okay, hello. I think your pentacle spell from yesterday worked for me. I did God's will and found $50 on the ground. Yay! I'm glad. Good for you. Are the circles also known as receptacles of light? I believe so. Yeah, I think I've heard him called like that, and there's nothing wrong with thinking of him that way. I always think of it as like a prism. The tree of life is like a prism, so it's the chinks of light. But yeah, circles of light, receptacles of light. This may be a silly question, but does energy flow only one way or in different directions at all times? Oh, no. It flows all ways. The tendency is for the flow to be down the tree. That's the tendency in most of our studies in Kabbalah. But again, in order to do path working, you have to travel up the tree. And so that's why, and we'll talk about this when we talk about the serpent and the lightning flash, or the serpent and the sword. There's a path to go up the tree, just like there's a path to come down the tree. So, but that's a great question. Yeah, but yes, we go up and down, in and out, right and left. This story about Lucifer and Earth being restored from the fall, is it written somewhere? Yeah, I have a little booklet called The Ancient Story of Lucifer, and you can find that on my website under free booklets. Ariel, are you familiar with the middle pillar ritual? Yeah, I am, and that's a fine thing to do. You can do that middle pillar ritual. I used to do it a lot. I don't so much anymore, just because I tend to work with other things now, like what I share with you in my classes. But it's a wonderful ritual, and you're basically just intoning the God names for each sphere down the middle pillar, and you're backing into that tree and allowing those spheres to exist in your physical body as well. And so then as you intone each of the God names, you're seeing and feeling those spheres as if they're happening in your body. And then you can run energy up the body and around the body. And then he has a nice booklet called, I think it's called The Ancient Art of Healing or something like that, where you take that and then you can actually work it as a spell, where you can turn the color in your body into the color of one of the spheres in order for a specific thing to happen, in order to have purposes happen. So yeah, it's a wonderful ritual that he came up with, and a lot of people really, really like it and use it. And I have used it for many years, and occasionally I still do it again. Wow, we got through all those questions really fast. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, and thank you for the great questions. I hope that you've enjoyed this series, and we'll be back for more witchiness next Thursday for Thrilling Thursday. Thank you so much to the amazing moderators today. We had Jennifer and Chad over on YouTube and Darlene on Twitch, and we will see you next week for more Thrilling Thursday. Much, much love and many, many blessings.